Hopefully that's working. A very good evening to you. My name is Stephen Kirker, and that is, you'll see just in front of me here, it says the Daily Wrap. That is officially the new name for this daily sport program, the Daily Wrap. Hopefully that resonates with you. I'm hoping I'm on the stream actually, because, yeah, please notify me. Thank you very much. Okay, this is the first time I've actually done this, because it's clearly important that I make sure that I'm on air. I'm sure somebody will let me know if it's not working. But anyway, there you go. Please send your comments too, by the way. And I should be able to pick them up here. So let's try that. Anyway, yes, plenty of cricket on the go. And of course, the first day of the test match between South Africa and the West Indies. And what a finish to the test match between New Zealand and England. Talk a little bit about that, bringing you a look at hopefully the final scores of the CSA 4-day. A lot of those games heading for results, which is pretty exciting, especially after a couple of them were interrupted by, well, there was no play on day one. And also discussing some rugby news from England, and Mornay Steyn, who is being granted a benefit season by the Bulls. Also the Bulls looking ahead to their game against the Lions in the URC this weekend. So let's start with matters as far as the first test match is concerned. And what I will tell you is we're going to look at matters as far as that test match is concerned. Now, it was a great start, actually, to his career as test captain by Temba Bavuma. He managed to win the toss, although ironically enough, he said after the toss that he would have actually preferred to... Oh, that's interesting. I'm not there anymore. Why is that? Let's try this. Okay, that looks good. Oh, okay. Anyway, you're just going to have to put up without me, which I don't mind, actually. It means I can look at my all my information. So that is the latest scoreboard from the Supersport Park Centurion, where the first test match is taking place. Now, look at that. 314 for 8 South Africa, which is a good score, right? But bear in mind, they took lunch on 99 without loss, and tea was 206 for 1. So it's all kind of fallen a little bit apart since then. And unfortunately, the skipper, as you see on the scorecard there, out for a duck. So mixed bag for the skipper. Excellent return to form by Aiden MARKRAM. Glad to see him scoring a ton. 115 there before he fell to the fastest visiting bowler, Alzari Joseph. Bit of a waste going on after that, right? The skipper falling, and then Tony Dezorzi needlessly run out on a debut, one of 2 debutantes in the side. And something of a mini recovery now happening between Marco Jansen. Yes, is Marco Jansen an all-rounder? Well, he's certainly putting up his hand as tail enders of many years ago would for the Proteas. And was a bit of a rearguard action here between him and the other debutant, which is Gerald Coetzee, taking their side from 300 for 8. Now 314 for 8. It should be getting close to stumps, I reckon. I thought actually that bad light would bring matters to a premature end. It got very dark over Johannesburg, and I looked to the north, and it looked fairly dark over there. But maybe the clouds were just gathering over the area where my bosses live. So maybe it was just dumping on them. Anyway, good stuff from them. Oh, yes. So in terms of the debutants, there were those, let me bring you back here. There were the two debutantes in that side, namely Tony Dezorzi, who was needlessly run out. And of course, also the man in batting at the moment, Gerald Coetzee. So De Zorzi was actually presented his cap by the former international New Zealand wicketkeeper, Kriya van Wyk, but van Wyk is now officially the full-time fielding coach for the Test side, and it was him who presented De Zorzi with his cap.
Tony, getting to know you the last couple of years, I know you're not someone who probably responds to people waxing lyrical about you or people reciting war poems or Roosevelt quotes, but if there's one thing about Tony de Zorzi is that he is the biggest team man I've known in the last 7 years that I've come across. Knowing your journey, you've never wanted anything easy in life. You've done it the hard way, and that's the way you wanted it. So incredibly proud of you. I know Natasha's proud of you as well, and I know it's a start of big things for you. We've always said it's one thing to be international cricketer, it's another thing to be a really good one, and I wish you that.
What a pity for Tony de Zorzi to be run out then, wasn't it? Anyway, these things do happen. Hopefully it goes better in the second knock. Gerald Coetzee was presented his cap by fellow fast bowler Heinrich Nokia. Who else to do the honours, I suppose?
Gerald, it's an honour to give you this cap. I think it's probably the most precious cap that all of us possess. Jy het deur die jare het jy hard gewerk. You've been running in for the nights. You've been giving it your all, bowling 50 overs a week. Just want to say congratulations on it. It's going to be a long career for you, the way you've been going on. Keep it up. Keep on the hard work.
I mean, I watched that, and the one thing I thought was, it's great. I mean, obviously they were touched and the teams all around you. It's a great occasion. But that thing of lighting that candle with a lighter like that, I mean, Gerald Coetzee has got a bowl, right? Now, imagine if he'd managed to blister his finger doing that. It would have been a disaster. They would have had to be in a late change to the team. Sorry, we're going to hand out another cap or call up somebody else. Disaster. So, you know, those things we're all lighting our gas stoves and braais with, the nice long ones? It's my recommendation to Cricket South Africa that in future, when you do that candle lighting ceremony, don't use somebody's doobie lighter. Get a proper lighter, a proper lighter, and let's not have any injuries in that one. Just my idea, okay? Okay, now let's talk about I don't know why my video doesn't show here. Chrome Sport audio input capture. Oh, I see. Oh, let's try that. That was all my thing. Okay. Let's go and pull up the scorecard again. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Can't get the staff these days. But that's very irritating. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. Okay. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that is the scorecard as it is, 314 for 8. South Africa choosing to bat. Perhaps they will see out the day. We'll have to see that. Thanks to Risa for the comment. You might want to respond, actually. He says, I'm not a MARKRAM fan. Should today's performance change my mind against an average windy side? Question mark. It's a good question. The whole potential debate is tiring when it doesn't translate to consistent performances. Yeah, true enough. I mean, I guess in test match cricket, more than anything else, you have to have those consistent performances. In the shorter form of the game, it sort of compresses, doesn't it? But maybe, this is another question, is maybe some players do get better with age. So could this be something that's happening with MARKRAM? One of the other comments is maybe the dressing room environment is different. Maybe he's batting with greater freedom. You know, coaching change, again, it's too early to tell. Yes, the West Indies aren't the best test side in the world, but they do have some handy fast bowlers. And Temba Bavuma actually admitted that he wouldn't have actually minded if he'd lost the toss and actually had to bowl first. So it was one of those kind of wickets, and the ball was moving around, and you see it off. Anyway, you might want to respond to that. Now, the other great test match, and we'll bring you the final score of the day there, was this match between New Zealand and England in Wellington. What a game it was. You see there Kane Williamson picking up the Man of the Match award, but we've got something to pat ourselves on the back about. One of our emigres picking up 4 wickets, Neil Wagner, or Waggy, as he's called by New Zealand, taking 4 wickets as England looked to chase down that target of victory and falling short by just 1 run. And he stuck to his guns. He'd been taken to the cleaners. But there's one thing about baseball cricket is something is going to happen. And it finally ended at an incredible run by England of winning their test match. It's not just drawing. I think the last side who beat them may have been South Africa. Stand corrected. But of course, remember, they came back to roll over South Africa in that series pretty convincingly. So Tim Southee ending there with 3 wickets, Matt Henry 2 wickets, and Neil Wagner 4 wickets. He did take the last man, James Anderson and Ollie Pope, but he also got the big wickets of Joe Root for 95 and the skipper Ben Stokes. When they were at the crease, clearly, you know, England were in a really good position to chase those runs down, but not to be. And brings to an end an exciting 2-match series. It's so sad, though, actually, that it's only a 2-match series. These 2-match series are very disappointing. And England had declared 435 for 8. New Zealand forced to follow on 209. 483 then they made in their second innings, setting England that target. I think it's only the 4th time in Test match cricket that a side has managed to lose a Test match after forcing the other side to follow on, or turning it around another way. New Zealand become the 4th side to win a Test match after being asked to follow on. The last time was that great match in Kolkata between India and Australia, when VVS Laxman scored that double century after India had been asked to follow on. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but it did happen in this match. So let's now look at matters as far as the 4-day series is concerned. And I do believe this is should be the end of play on day 3. Where are we? Yes, so the Warriors in their second innings, 167 for 2. That's after the Knights folded for 157. Now, or have they actually chased down those runs? Oh no, that's silly. They need 279 runs. There I was getting almost carried away. The Knights were in a really good position in that game, but after scoring that 422 in the first innings, and then, you know, bowling out the Warriors for 134. But it all kind of came apart for them in the second innings. But thanks to those first innings runs, they did set that big target, 157 in their second innings. You'll see 5 wickets there for Bayer Swanepoel. He's taken 10 in the match. That's really impressive stuff for him. And at the moment, the Warriors 167 for 2. And it wasn't a great start for them. You'll see Carl Jacobs there out for 12. Jordan Herman having to retire hurt, and Lesiba Ngwepe out for 5. But a nice partnership developing here between Matthew Pritzker and Rudy Second, taking them to 167 for 2. Still 279. So the Knights will be looking to press for that victory tomorrow. A single wicket apiece for Nhlakanipo Mpongose and Aubrey Swanepoel. In the match between the Lions and Western Province. That's taking place at the Knights. The Lions having a slender lead of 103 runs heading into the final day. But perhaps, if they can score another 100, 100? Yeah, I suppose another 100 in that match. There may be a result, but if Province, who are in danger of being relegated, by the way, can pick up some early wickets, they can pull something back. Lions in their second innings, reaching 203 for 5. Dominic Hendricks, another great half century from him. Talking actually, on that subject, with people like Reza Hendricks out of the side, okay, he only made 7. Shukri Conrad pinned his colours to the mast and said, Aiden Markram, I want him in, he's going to open. It's great for the coach to back players like that, but there are these people like Reza Hendricks and indeed Dominic who are available. We'll have to see how Markram goes in the second innings and in the next match in the series. Lions 203 for 5. That's after the Western Province made 423 in reply to their 323. The Dolphins need just 46 runs in their game against the Titans. That's happening in Kingsmead. It's really been happening today. I actually pulled up what the Dolphins had resumed on there. I think they were 106 for 5. And then they were bowled out. Tablet, do you mind switching yourself on? Okay, it's clearly not going to... Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Be kind to me. I did write it down. The Dolphins had 109 for 5 in reply. And the Titans had made 165, 214 for 7 at lunch. They were then 253 all out. The Titans all out for only 138. Neil Bryant scoring a 50 there, and then leaving the Dolphins with only 50 runs to get. You see the Titans innings led there by Neil Brand with that that 50, even 50. John Smuts, another 5-wicket haul for him. Grief. I hope that hasn't killed my... I do hope I'm still streaming. My computer just did an awfully weird thing. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, you can. And in fact, you can see that my screen must have done a weird thing because it's reopened that, or has it? Anyway, what was I talking about? This match, and the Dolphins now 5 without loss at stumps. They need to. They needed 51 runs. So they only need, 47 more tomorrow to win that one. John Smuts taking 5 wickets. Prenelane Subrayan is picking up 4 wickets. I believe that's his career best because he got 6 wickets in the first innings, did he not? Best bowling figures in an innings was that 7. He picked up those 7 and 4, 11. So he picked up those 7 wickets. Those 11 wickets in a match is best bowling figures in match altogether. So pretty decent. Oh, there I was supposedly sharing that with you, and then I didn't. No good. Now, more cricket, and let's talk about the ICC Women's World 20 team of the tournament. And no, not that. Thank you very much. I want to go to my screen. Oh, make that invisible. Thank you very much. That's not the team of the tournament. That's actually to do with tomorrow's press conference, Momentum Proteas History Makers press conference, and we'll be bringing you excerpts of that tomorrow in the daily wrap. because the fact that the Proteas, the Momentum Proteas, made the final of the ICC World Cup for the first time, becoming the first senior team side to make the final of an ICC tournament. We have, of course, had ICC under 19 tournament winners in South Africa. In fact, MARKRAM did win an under 19 World Cup. Him and Kagiso Rabada were in the team, so we will remember that. Okay, what I did want to talk about actually was that the rest of that team, which is, let's have a look at this. So, apart from Laura Wolfhard, Tasman Brits, and Shadnima Ismail, who made that team of the tournament, you see there are 4 Australians in that side, and the player of the tournament was the Australian Ashley Gardner. So that side, it's basically there for you in the batting order. Tasman Brits, Elisa Hilly, Laura Wolfhard, considered number 3 batter. She did top the batting charts with 230 runs. I mean, that's a pretty outstanding top 3, actually. And probably not a bad decision to move it down to number 3. I don't know. What do you make of that? Nat Sivabrunt, the England skipper, with 216 runs coming in at number 4. Ashley Gardner, that's an all-rounder anyone would have in their side, right? 10 wickets and also contributing some fast runs as well. Richard Ghosh of India, Sophie Eccleston, Karisha Ramharak of the West Indies, and Shabnima Ismail, 8 wickets. She didn't top the bowling charts, but I do believe she bowled the fastest deliveries in the tournament. Darcy Brown and then Megan Schutt of Australia, 10 wickets. So as I say, we'll be bringing you the rest of that. Well, the information from that press conference tomorrow. Now let's talk about some rugby. And yeah, Morné Steyn's been rewarded by the Bulls for being granted, he's been granted a benefit year. It runs until the end of his contract in June. The double World Cup winning fly half and kicking machine, who's also played overseas, has been with the Bulls for 14 years of his long career. He turns 39 in July. Now, his foundation, the MS10 Foundation, will earn the cash benefits of the benefit season's takings. And what will those be? Well, for every rand out of each ticket sold at Loftus from January until June, will go into that. And Steyn's last game of the season for the Bulls will be obviously at Loftus as well. And unless he decides on another year, I seem to remember some talk that there was a possibility he might have another year. One of those games is against the Lions on Saturday, and it comes following the defeat to the Stormers last time out. Now, what's at stake in that game? Well, it's an interesting one because you'll, of course, recall that the Stormers kept their record intact against the Bulls in URC rugby and beat them again. And despite that defeat, the Bulls are into the playoffs. And the Lions had that great win against Glasgow at the weekend after a really, really horrible week. So Chris Rousseau, the backline coach, says they're certainly not going to be complacent against the Lions.
Well, I have to compliment the Lions. Obviously, they've been under the pump for a long time. But they're an exceptional team. They showed it on the weekend. And for us, whenever we play the Lions, we understand how important that game is. So for us as a coaching staff, what we do is we just focus on the process. It's important to understand how important. We don't need any further motivation for this game. For us, we are at the moment playing a South African team always is extra motivation, but even for us, just understanding how important this game is in terms of what points. But for us, like I said, just focus on the process. It's easy to become panicky, say a lot of stuff, but the players get a lot of confidence, and we stick to the process and the systems as is.
Now, some of the players who won't be in that side are Curtly Arendse or Kanan Moody. They are proven star playmakers. Does that mean that the Bulls change their approach going into that game, or do they sort of mix things up ahead of the playoffs? No, I see what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, apologies for that interruption. We're going to talk video packages now. Yes, thank you. So, that point, Chris Rousseau was asked about whether the Bulls would change the kind of approach to the game against the Lions, given the fact that Curtly Arendse and Kanan Moody are out of that. They're proven star players for the Bulls. So, should they change? Okay, I'm really not sure why that's not working. It should actually work. I've got it visible. Thank you. Yes. I'm not sure why that's not working. Anyway, I'll have to tell you that he says they're not going to change the way they play the game. It would be unwise for them to do that. Certainly at this stage of the tournament, you've got to trust in the way they play the game. Now, let's look at the way things stack up heading into the weekend. Leinster, of course, well out on top. Stormers in second place, Ulster third. Where the Bulls, well, there they are in sixth place, a single point ahead of the Sharks. We do know the Lions are completely out of the running there in 14th place. So certainly I think the Lions will be coming across the river to have one against the Bulls. So I don't think the Bulls are going to find the Lions anything but motivated for that match. The other matches there, Warriors against the Zebras, Munster against Scarlets, Stormers against Sharks. That, I guess, could arguably be the pick of the matches this weekend ahead of the playoffs. Bulls, Lions, Edinburgh, Leinster, Osprey, Benetton, Dragons, Connacht, Rugby versus Ulster. Of course, all the forever rugby stuff with Stephen Pettit is the stuff to keep your eyes on. What I would like to talk about now actually is golfing rankings. For some reason, the women's LPGA released their rankings. I didn't even know it's put together by the LPGA, but they put their stuff out on Tuesday, or at least late on a Monday night, I guess it is their time. And there's Ashley Bahai. She's at 20 this week. She's broken into the top 20 for the first time in her career. That's after, where did she finish? I can't remember where she finished. I had it here somewhere. I think she finished in a share of 9th at the weekend. That was on the Honda LPGA in Thailand. And as for the rest of the South Africans in the rankings, you can see there's Ashley Bahai at 20, Paula Rito losing two positions down to 49. South Africa's former number one golfer, Leanne Pace, down there at 150. As far as the top rankings in the world are concerned, no changes until we see there at number 12, Lilia Vu, moving up to 12 positions. Lydia Ko has been at number one, I feel, for years. I'll have to look that one up. I could have that completely wrong, of course, and quite likely do. Now let's talk about local. Oh, no, let's not talk about that. Let us talk about Marcus Smith. Poor old Marcus Smith. He's been left out of the England training squad and has been sent back to Harlequins. Smith, who'd started 16 straight games as England fly half before being benched for the wins against Italy and Wales, was initially named in the 26-man squad, but with skipper Owen Farrell and Gerald Ford in the squad, there were 3 fly halves. It's quite a come down for Smith. He was the choice fly half under Eddie Jones. He started in the round 1 defeat of the Six Nations by Scotland, but he only came onto the field for the closing seconds of that match on Saturday. The extra hurt is that England's training at Brighton College, where Smith went to school. Hey, no, shame. Poor dude. Okay, let's talk about some footy now. And as far as most trigger-happy coaches go, I do reckon that this man here is probably the most trigger-happy. No, he's definitely the most trigger-happy club owner in the PSL, without doubt. And he could quite possibly be the most trigger-happy coach in the world. He's just fired. Oh, that's, by the way, Saviwe Chippa Mpengesi. He's the owner of Chippa United. And he's just fired Morgan Mamila as coach and reinstated Kurt Lankies. Now, 6 months is all Mamila got at Chippa, but after 2 straight PSL defeats and with the team lying 13th in the 16-team league, I think they're only, 3 points ahead of the relegation zone. It's time for him to move on. Lankies, now he was in charge until July last year when, guess what? Yeah, he was also fired. He was recently rehired as assistant coach to Mamila. I don't know why I can't see these messages. Let's have a look at this. Live chat. Thank you. There we go. For guiding them to 5th place at one stage. And he also became the first coach at the club to win 4 games in a row. It's not, but clearly that's not good enough. Oh, and what I did forget to do was to show you the outgoing coach. Yeah, shame. Morgan Mamila. So that's how many? 15. Yeah. 16. No, hang on. I think I forgot to even include that in my story. I think there's been 16 coaches in 5 years. Something like that. I mean, one of the most important pieces of information that I needed for that, well, guess what? I missed it out. I left it out. Over to you. Another one from Reza. Special word for the king of swimming, Jimmy Anderson. What a legend at being number 1 at 40. Yeah, isn't that incredible? I still remember when Dale Steyn was playing and Jimmy Henderson was playing, and you kind of thought, well, Dale Steyn is faster. He's bouncier. Dale Steyn is fishing now. And on that subject, actually, come to think of it, I think Dale Steyn caught one of his the fishes he's been wanting to catch for the longest time recently. I think he posted it on Instagram. I mean, he is one of those guys you have to follow on Instagram, that's for sure. Is this stumps now? I do hope so. Let's have a look at this. Thank you. Looking at things as far as the final. Did I do the transition? Yes, I did. Marco Jansen on 17, Gerald Coetzee on 11. There we go. That is stumps. Maria Erasmus ending matters light reading. So 314 for 8. I mean, I guess after winning the toss and batting, you take 314. Even 314 for 8. But my wife always tells me, but is a bad word to use because it's kind of, and, yeah, so use and you would hope after reaching, 206 at tea time, 206 for 1, mind you, you would press on to, maybe reach 314, but possibly 314 for 5. Still, big up to Gerald Coetzee and Marco Jansen. That is another debate, isn't it? Is Marco Jansen, the new all-rounder for the Proteas? You see, Senera Mutasami was brought in ahead of him. Now, Mutasami has got a pretty decent domestic record as a batsman and spin bowler. But, LBW to Kemar Roach today, so not taking that advantage. Well, there's definitely going to be a chance for the batters to have another go in this one, because you don't see the Proteas scoring. I don't know. What do you reckon this side can build up to? 350, I guess, is realistically the best you could hope for from 314 for 8, and it could well be over within a couple of deliveries early tomorrow morning. However, we'll have to see. So amongst the wickets there, Alzari Joseph 3 for 16, and a wicket apiece for Kemar Roach, Kyle Mayers, Shannon Gabriel and Jason Holder. So as always, I do a lot of apologizing on this program, don't I? I was convinced I was going to get the technical aspects of this a lot more organized today, but these things are sent to try us, right? So thank you very much for tuning in, and remember, this is about your program, the Daily Wrap. We got to keep it going on, and the more you contribute to the program, the more likely we are to be able to keep it going on, because we need to justify it, because we can't all give our time for charity, unfortunately, unless there's a benevolent sponsor who's willing to. Excuse me, we are dog sitting today, and the dogs that we are dog sitting is not the most quiet dog in the kennel. So on that shouty note, I will bid you farewell from the Forever Sports, the Daily Wrap. Ciao.